They asked Li Taishuan to give them the Book of Heaven, since he is a self-proclaimed ruler. The guys gathered there to deal with him. He couldn't escape. He asked if they really wanted to suppress him. Emperor Qi Wu Shizun, Demon Jinwu, they only have a top copy. What a shame. Since such worthless rats want the Book of Heaven so much, then they will have to die with him. How dare he destroy the entire immortal world? Opening his eyes, he realized that this place seemed to be Earth. The guy isn't fighting against the Emperor. That bastard Wu and the demon haven't exploded yet. It looks like his theory is correct. The Book of Heaven took him back to the past. He was reborn. He returned there again. His name is Li Taishuan. He was in charge of the world of Taishuan, which he dominated. With the help of his power, he ruled parallel worlds. He was even able to create a great immortal body. He thought Huzhou Station, such a distant memory, this overlord still remembers. If he remembers correctly, this must have been his first time there. He was about 20 years old. The phone rang, and when the guy picked up the phone, he heard questions about where he had gone. Dinner for school staff will begin in half an hour. Does he even want to be there? Why does she have such a worthless boyfriend? Li Taishuan recalled that this time he came to Huzhou with the true purpose of going to that harlot, see her family, propose to her, and ask for her hand in marriage, but she had other plans. She invited a wealthy second-generation nothing named Yang Xiaokong. Standing above him, the man said that he should first find out who he was bumping into before lying to someone else's woman. The girl added that he was just a dreamer if he thought that she would fall in love with him. This Yang Xiaokong was merciless. The guy thought that it was okay. He would definitely return everything to him. Let only the stupid, insignificant mortal wait. He even managed to pour acid on such a respectable face. He was later convicted of unlawful rape and sentenced to more than 10 years in prison. That bastard sent him to jail. What kind of rape can we talk about if he knew the heavenly realities? His own father was ill. When the guy came out, he sold his property to help him. But when he returned home from prison, all he found was the cold corpse of his father. For the next few years, the guy lived like a stray dog. No purpose. He lived only to survive. In the end, he takes the easy way out. The guy decided that it was time to stop. It was a blessing in disguise. A fruitful misfortune that allowed his soul to go astray and enter the Zuxian kingdom, becoming a descendant of Taishuan. In a past life he was stupid, incompetent. Now everything is in the past. The most unfortunate thing is that this emperor had to endure all these insults of his mortal sin. The insults of his mortal sin did not end. This venerable one will be sealed to heaven and find retribution for their future grievances. The guy was driving a taxi when suddenly their car was cut off. The driver did not understand what was happening. Turning towards the back seat, he wanted to ask how the young man was, but saw that he had disappeared. As a result of the resulting collision, the car began to drift towards the edge of the bridge. But at this moment, the brave Li manages to grab the car and saves it from disaster. Li Taishuan thought, what a lousy little person. What they are staring at, let them call for help. Alas, his strength is too weak. He needs to become stronger to protect his family. The man walked towards the guy. He began to thank him for his help. The guy replied that it was all a matter of fate. Such things are small and insignificant for him, so don't worry about it. He began to tell the young man that if he needed a favor in the future, he could ask him for anything. Although the man is old, he has enough influence there, which his family has. Li Taishuan replied that this was not necessary at all. Suddenly the girl began screaming for him to stay still. Their family is not used to someone's mercies and kindness. Let them allow him to show their gratitude. Maybe he needs something? Grandfather told her that was enough. At least it was impolite. The guy asked the Chu family. Since they insist, he will not stand on ceremony and ask. He needs 100,000-year-old ginseng to change these pitiful mortal bones. Will they be able to get it? The old man replied that the guy had a funny way of speaking. This girl is his granddaughter Chu Shualian. Perhaps he has spoiled her too much since she was little. He doesn't look like a resident of this city at all. How should he address the young man? The guy replied that enough pleasantries. He should know if they could bring him what he wanted. They seem to owe him a favor. Is it just more empty words? Is this human nature? Chu Shualian, looking at everything that was happening, thought that he was trying to extort from her grandfather right now. At some point, the girl saw something strange and shouted to her grandfather to be careful. The man began to shout that he was a stupid child. He managed to break into the car. How dare he ruin such a perfect and well-thought-out plan? Now he will definitely die. He attacked from behind, but suddenly, at some point the guy turned to face him. The man asked, "How is this even possible?" With just one glance, Li Taishuan made him fly to the side and hit a tree. The guy thought, did a pathetic earthly ant really dare to challenge him? Grandfather thought, is he really letting that guy go? This is what a legendary practitioner can do. Is he some prodigal young master from a secret family? Or did he become a great master at such a young age? Most great masters stay away. They are rare and usually tend to be very old. He had never heard of a person at the level of a great master at such a young age. It was truly unheard of. Does this explain his strange accent? The girl didn't understand what kind of movement it was. He killed the assassin without even moving. Who the hell is this guy? Passing by the man, Li Taishuan told him that this pathetic semblance of an assassin could kill him, but that ant dared to offend this venerable one? Having bowed, the old man began to ask for forgiveness from the young man. It seemed like he was one of the legendary practitioners. He asked to be forgiven for his short-sightedness. He hoped that he was not too rude, and neither did his granddaughter. How can he repay him? Suddenly, the guy saw that same object on the man's neck. The energy inside that jade pendant is familiar. Did it really come from the immortal world? Li Taishuan began to say that he wanted to get the jade that he was wearing. If he wants to repay the guy, then please let him have it. The old man asked this old jade, "Is the young man sure he wants to get it?" Of course, since he likes it so much, the old man is ready to give it away. Paris said that mere mortals cannot use such a jade pendant, but this artifact is very useful for him. They're even now so the guy can leave. Let him continue to do his worldly affairs. The girl asked the worldly? She began to ask her grandfather why he gave the jade to such an eccentric. He's just a warrior. What's so special about him? Grandfather asked, has she heard about the southeastern military base? There is a man named Long Tianzhang. As the #1 master of the southeast military region, he had been ordered to guard the northwestern border for many years. Having killed various terrorist organizations that tried to infiltrate China many times, his name was widely known. Previously, he had rushed into a riot zone in West Africa and took out an enemy priority target in a rain of bullets and killed more than 2,000 enemy troops, achieving an invincible myth in the army. Hence the code name, symbolizing fear. The girl asked why grandfather was telling her this story. What does this have to do with that guy? The old man replied because the young man they had just met was at least as good as Voldemort. The guy still remembers how he was humiliated in his past life right there, in this place. Now everything has changed. He was looking forward to paying that scoundrel for all his mortal grievances. How nice it is to meet him again. The guy decided to enjoy this experience. Qi Shuang began to say that this party was important to her, and he came there so late. So useless. How could he let his girlfriend wait for him all day? Calling her a harlot, he replied that he had a small accident on the road. It was none of her business what the venerable man did in his free time. Did the girl think she was a harlot? Why is this guy talking so strangely? She feels as if he has become someone else. In the past, he was by her side like a crazy puppy in love. Looks like he hit his head or something. Approaching her, the girl asked if this was her boyfriend. He talks so funny, a guy from the village. Besides, it's too shabby to be there. Now she knows why the girl is embarrassed to bring him out into the world. If she were in her place, she would also choose Yang Xiaokong. The guy thought that another insignificant girl had appeared. This harlot's name was Xu Xiaoying. She is a teacher in some language group, such a noble profession, darkened by such an irreparable soul. In a past life she looked down on him as a mortal. The girl told him that he's really annoying when he comes to a high-profile event like this. Why can't he dress in something better? Because of him, she loses face in such a big crowd. Taking her hand, Zhu asked why she was still entertaining this poor nothing boy. It was better for her to go with her. Let this child be left to rot alone. The Venerable One remembered this memory from a past life. This girl's attitude never changes, but she doesn't know that he can send her to the next building and turn her into human paste. Seeing the girl, Yang Xiaokong asked if she came with Li Taishuan. She replied that the guy couldn't come on time, so don't worry about him. He started saying that the guy was so antisocial. It seemed like no one there was claiming to be his friend. The girl asked to stop talking about him, as it spoils her mood. Looking in his direction, Qi Shuang asked with her eyes not to blame her for this. Let her blame her uselessness. He's just not good enough for her. Yang Xiaokong asked why she was hesitating. Let her choose him and leave that poor boy. She knows how the guy treats her. Seeing the guy, Yang walked up to him and greeted him, asking if he was Li Taishuan. The guy replied that such a venerable guy doesn't shake hands. Their human customs do not apply to the ruler. He is below him, so he is not even worthy of it. Yang Xiaokong asked how dare he spit in his face. The girl started screaming. Isn't he apologizing to him? Actually, the guy is the deputy head of the teaching department at their school. How can he stay in the same school when they have such a relationship? Other guys immediately began to stand up for the gentleman. They started asking how dare he show disrespect. Does he really want to die so soon? If you don't apologize, you won't even be able to leave this banquet. Hasn't Li Taishuan heard that no one there likes him? They don't need his money, so let him hurry up and get lost. Looking at them, the guy thought, are they still talking to him? He seems to have changed the course of time and created a new trajectory in the timeline. Let him quickly return to where he came from, otherwise the guy will deal with him because he is not worthy of her at all. Approaching the guys, the director of the educational department told the guy that he was immediately ordering him to quickly stand up and apologize to Yang Xiaokong, and let him refuse this place. He is not worthy and has no right to sit there. Li Taishuan replied that if he doesn't deserve to sit there, then no one deserves it. Does the man understand? Moreover, such insignificant trash as that guy is not worthy of it. Yang Xiaokong asked who he is deceiving. He has shares in this hotel. Let him tell him why the guy doesn't deserve this place. Compared to him, he owns nothing. He deserves nothing and should remain so. Getting to his feet, the guy began to say that he was tired of this game. Let him sit down if necessary. He would watch the guy disgrace himself somewhere else. But as it turned out, there was something wrong with the place. As soon as he sat down on the chair, his bottom immediately lit up. The girl ran up to him and her skirt immediately caught fire. She began to scream that the fire had moved to her. Let someone help. The man ran towards them with a bucket of water in his hands and shouted for everyone to give way to him. He poured this bucket of water on the two of them. The guy didn't understand what was wrong with this chair. How did it catch fire? Suddenly, looking up, he saw that the chandelier was swinging very strongly from side to side. Suddenly, the light bulbs began to break and the fragments began to fall directly on the guy. He started screaming for someone to come to his aid. The guy picked him up and said that they would rather send him to the hospital. If there is an infection, it will be a problem for him. Watching what was happening, Li Taishuan thought that resistance on his part was useless. While walking him to the car, the guy kept trying to calm down Yang Xiaokong, saying that they were sending him to the hospital. Having put him in the car, they began to drive. At one point, their car caught fire. They immediately began to run out of it. People stood and watched everything that was happening without even trying to help. The guy was watching what was happening and thought what a wonderful show the ants were showing him. Let them continue to play their role. They attract his attention. Qishuang told the guy that it was too late. He could go back without her. Tomorrow's marriage proposal will still take place. The guy asked, "Does this mean the harlot still wants to accept marriage?" He wonders what kind of performance they would put on, try to entertain him tomorrow. He thought that their little mortal games were not over yet. This performance is just the beginning. Tomorrow's marriage proposal should be interesting. Let them not let him down. Diligently fulfill their roles and there will be no regrets. She thought about how the guy would come this far just to see her, but that's how she communicates with him. Let her forget him. She and he are not made for each other. She needs to be higher. The girl took her friend's hand and offered to leave there. She and that unfortunate loser were not made for each other. Only an outstanding person like Yang Xiaokong deserves someone like her. The girl said that, by the way, her boyfriend will work at the Imperial Club. They have a free room if he wants. They can hang out. Let her go home, change clothes, and it's time to have fun. Now she needs this more than the girls. The phone rang. It was Chu Zuelian who called the guy. The girl asked where he is now. Since the guy just arrived, she believes he doesn't have a place to stay yet. Her grandfather asked to show him the city. While they are talking, housing is being prepared if he still needs it. He replied to the Honorable Lady Lotus that he would agree to her proposal. Li Taishuan is currently at the crossroads of Chuhuang Place. The guy asked if she could pick him up. As soon as he hung up, a girl came up to him and asked if he wanted to buy flowers. She thought that it had been a long time since she had seen such a delightful young man. The girl asked if the guy had a place to stay. Why shouldn't he go with her to her home? Did the guy ask back at her house? Let the little witch run. She will not be able to afford you such a price for this venerable one. Let him go play with other mortals. He has things to do. Is it really the little witch who wants to play? Such a pitiful amount of magic she dared to cover her body with it? Quite presumptuous. Isn't she afraid of oblivion? Does he really want to die? The girl asked, can he see her real identity? Impressively, she can't seem to let him go that easily. Release him into a basket with flowers from his hands. The girl immediately told him to stand still and let her suck all his energy. Suddenly, something strange began to happen to her body. She thought, is this really a lot of pressure and energy? Is this really all coming from him? How is this possible? And her body seems to be torn apart. Her cultivation was destroyed in the blink of an eye. Looking him straight in the eye, the girl asked who he was. Li Taishuan asked when God walks among mortals, who would dare to cause discord? The pitiful child dares to challenge him. What ignorance! Turning to the little witch, he said that this venerable one is feeling generous today. How will she make amends to this monarch? Let him speak and not sit back and waste his time. Didn't he tell her he had things to do? She began to ask him for forgiveness and pray for mercy. Please let her go. She will get out of his way. The girl made a mistake. Please don't punish her. The taxi driver stopped and started shouting to the guy. What was he doing? Stop picking on such an innocent young lady. How could a young man like him do this to her? He was lucky that the man was in such a good mood. Otherwise, he would have shown him. Turning to the girl, he invited her to get into the car to take her away from this rude man. Let him ignore this guy. He will never have a girlfriend. Such men will remain lonely for the rest of their lives. He thought that let the little witch live, but for now he will prepare and improve the longevity pill by then. They'll see each other soon, and then he'll deal with her. The guy will suck all her demonic energy dry. The taxi driver asked if Miss was okay. He just saw her drop flowers from the basket. Is she really selling flowers for the soul? She replied that yes, she planted many types of beautiful flowers in her flower bed at home. The girl asked if he really wanted to buy flowers from her. They can stay with her. It's right above Wanhua Lane, overlooking Xiangshan Mountain. She thought that whoever that young man was, he had hurt her. She needed to replenish her supply of vitality in order to heal. Let him consider himself a happy boy. It's time for her to reinforce himself with his energy. Let him not blame her, but also blame himself for courting death. At this moment, the same girl drives up to Li Taishuan. When she came out, she asked if he liked her car. "Would you like to go for a ride?" The guy replied that she had a wonderful car. He wishes to express his solemn gratitude to her grandfather for sheltering this humble man. Sitting in the car, the girl asked him, who are the two people who were arguing with him before her arrival? If she wants, will she teach them a lesson? The girl could find someone to do this. Li Taishuan asked her not to worry and not to bother herself with these worldly little things. What happens, happens. People just willingly bring trouble upon themselves. There is no cure for stupidity. The girl asked again, "Are you getting into trouble? What does Mr. Li mean?" Suddenly, their car was almost cut off. As it turned out, this is the same taxi that the girl got into. Chu Shuelian asked the guy if he saw what was happening there. Li Taishuan replied that she was just a little witch engrossed in her meal. Nothing worth mentioning, there are many unusual things in the world. Let the girl not worry. Such things are just nothing. They are ants in front of such a respectable person like him. Let her be calm. She wondered how he reveals such mystical things. Who is he really? Does he know about such things? Besides, he told her not to worry about it. It was strange to say the least. Half an hour later, the girl said that she really liked their conversation. It was very informative. She even got used to how strange the guy talks. The guy can go in first and rest. She will be there soon. As soon as he wanted to go inside, he was immediately stopped and asked where he was going. Li Taishuan asked the mortal to let him pass, saying that the venerable one was invited to stay there. The guy asked him who says that. Will he stay there? Invitation. Does the poor guy in such rags really want to stay there? Does he even have a membership card? He replied that no, he came there with a friend. She is a good and honest girl. The man said no, stop. They are there only to entertain club members. If he does not have a membership card, please let him leave the premises. He just can't imagine such a tramp with his girlfriend. Seriously? Does anyone else dare to walk with such a poor fellow like him? A second man appeared and began to ask what happened and what was going on there in general. The guy told manager Zhao about the guy's claim that he was invited to stay there. Can he trust this guy? The man replied that he was just another poor guy. Is he looking for something to eat? Li Taishuan replied that he should watch his tone so as not to tempt him. And in general, does he know who the guy is? Zhao replied that he knew him, that poor useless boy from the party, and he is Xu Xiaoying's boyfriend. The guy replied that he didn't know that she had someone. He kept hearing her bragging about her boyfriend, but he didn't think that he was just a lobby manager. The manager said what a lot of impudence this guy has. How can he talk to him like that? Although he can't even speak properly. Does he have any idea where he is now? This is a prestigious imperial club. Only the highest elites came there. This is a high society club. There is no place for people like him. Qi Shuang saw him and asked what the guy was doing there. Let him stop this already. Why is he even there? Does the guy even know what this place is? The guy asked why the harlot is there. Even that girl is also there, surrounded by these boring people. He is respectable, just waiting for the lady he knows to return. She will be there soon. She went to park her luxury car. The girl began to scream. Why didn't she notice this before? He is too deeply absorbed in her vanity. Let him stop pretending and behave with dignity. The fact that he went there to get her attention is just sad. He asked the venerable man, is he chasing her? She is acting wild and unreasonable. No one will just chase vanity. Let them play their game somewhere else. The girl shouted that it was none of his business and that he should stop talking such nonsense. Li Taishuan asked for the sake of samsara, why is she still there? This venerable man is done with her. Let him leave him alone, such an uncouth woman. Her inelegant manners tire him. The girl told him not to dare talk to her like that. Did he say that he came there to live? Live in this place? The guy has no right to live there at all. Chu Shuelian came in and shouted that he certainly has the right to be there. The girl asked if he was okay. I apologized for being late. The damn parking lot was full. Manager Joe immediately asked what was Miss doing there. The girl asked why wouldn't she suddenly be there. Mr. Noble guest whom she invited personally. The Chu family is responsible for this. They took care to ensure his arrival, and they are idiots, rude to him and force her guest to leave. She ordered them to kneel down and slap their faces until their guest Mr. Lee was satisfied. Let them do it. This is her order. Qishuang asked her friend, who is this woman? Why is her boyfriend afraid of her? The girl said that she is Miss Chi 3U. Her family practically owns Huzhou. Some guy from the VIP tried to hit her. After that, they learned that he came out with several broken bones and serious injuries to his limbs. She thought about how she never expected Li Taishuan to become someone's pawn so shamelessly. How low had he fallen? The girl thought that this woman was really blind. She has no foresight at all. Truly a harlot. She can't even tell how good a man is because Mr. Lee is a dragon among men. She wondered if it was contempt. No, the girl is just making things up. Miss Chu can't do it. Let the guy wait until this woman plays with him when he cries. Let him not crawl on his knees to her. As soon as they entered the room, the girl immediately asked Mr. Lee to become her teacher. He has impressive knowledge, and she would like to be his student. The money was transferred to his account. Let him accept her sincere gratitude. He replied that it was a noble endeavor, but her fitness as a practitioner was too inept to be a student of this venerable one. She immediately told Mr. Lee that she dreamed of being one of the strongest. If he took her as a student, she would listen to his every word. Practicing martial arts was always her dream. It was always what she strived for. The guy thought, should he agree? Although her beauty is better than anything he has seen in this world. Perhaps, if there are ways, she will one day become immortal, or perhaps not. He is always ready to help if he can. The money that the girl gave will allow him to grow a new body, the sun. He asked what Miss Chu is doing. Let her dress more comfortably. She is now having a civilized conversation. They still have a lot to do. He would accept her as a probationary, uninvited student if she wished, and as such the girl would not embarrass herself publicly. From now on he is her master. There are some things she needs to know. Let her remember who she became. They are descendants of Tailin. Although only formally, she can be considered a disciple of this blood. They are not a sect or a cult, but a great civilization of the world. The girl asked where he came from. Li Taishuan replied that from a distant kingdom, very far away, no mortal could enter this kingdom. Someday, perhaps, she will do it. One day, when her strength is strong enough, this venerable master will take her to see their glorious empire. Even the heavens cannot compare with the Tianxiang upper realm. She noticed that every time the master talks about this, he looks sad. Because when he left, there were still people there that he was looking after. It's just something to think about. Just a stupid feeling, nothing more. He told Zhuexi that her cultivation level was quite high. Why was she so desperate to become even stronger? The girl replied that all she needs to do is try to become stronger than Big Brother Taishuan. She needs it. So one day she will finally be able to stand next to him on top of the world. He wondered what she was doing now. Did you really try your best all this time? Will they try to find him and search the galaxy and the entire outside world? Bowing, the girl told the master that she would not bother him anymore. The guy replied that everything is fine, she can go. Looking at that same pendant, he squeezed it in his hands and broke it. The guy thought that this mixed stone with supernatural power was originally the only one of its kind. Unfortunately, it had already dried up. The Taishuan Qi in his body cannot be activated yet. He needs to do something. Perhaps it would be better to look elsewhere. There will definitely be more somewhere on Earth. No matter that his current cultivation is sufficient for worldly living conditions and protection, once he finds a suitable treasure and successfully enters the Taishuan realm, he will finally activate it. As soon as he opened the door, those same guys appeared before his eyes. They asked for forgiveness and begged to be released. They understood that they had done wrong and repented. In his previous life, this trash was Yang Shao Kong's most loyal dog. What they did to him, do they really think he will forgive them? Even after thousands of years, he will endure this resentment until the debt is paid. As soon as the guy headed towards the road, a car flew past him at high speed. In her window, he saw a girl begging for help. He took this girl somewhere into the forest. He said that if she allowed him to have a good time with her, then this contract could be signed right tonight. The girl tried to negotiate with him, saying that if they didn't let her go right away, she would call the police. But everything was pointless. As soon as he began to pester the girl, Li Taishuan knocked on the car window. Having rolled down the window in the car, the guy asked what he wanted. Can't he see that they are busy? If he doesn't have anything nice to say, let him get lost. The guy asked why he was making fun of him. Let him get out of his car now. Song Zong came out with a bat in his hands. He began to tell the guy to listen to him, even give him another chance. Let him get out of there now. Otherwise, he will beat him up so badly that no one will even help him. Li Taishuan replied that human nature knows no boundaries. Let the girl leave. He will leave him alone with his desires. The guy will let him live. Let him be grateful for this offer. The guy asked, did he hear correctly? He talks like a broken record. Does he even know who he is? No one in the area dared to talk to him like that, and certainly not a record like him. Even the people here dare not mess with him. The guy asked, did he really ask you to tell the story of his life? This person doesn't care about his insignificant status. They humans are always so willing to flaunt their egos. All this one asks is to let the woman go. Doesn't he understand human language? As soon as the guy swung his baton, Li Taishuan stopped it with one hand and, squeezing it, it shattered into splinters. Song Zong told him not to think that he could cross the road to someone like him so easily. He lives in society. There are consequences for getting involved with people like him. His power is useless. The guy wouldn't dare mess with him. Li Taishuan grabbed him and told him to listen. He absolutely doesn't care what the problem is. He doesn't see anything. The guy replied that he should just try to kill him. He is already a corpse. Dragging him towards the cliff, he said that it was very good. This king of the gods would fulfill his wish. Let him enjoy this moment. It's not every day that a guy dies at the hands of an immortal. The guy started screaming for him to let him go. Does he think he's afraid of his stupid threats? Sun shouted that he was many times better than the guy would ever be. This won't scare him at all. How dare he try to bluff? As he asked, Li Taishuan let him go. As soon as he walked back to the car, the girl got out of it. She began to say something when suddenly she fell unconscious. Imperial Club. Coming out of the shower, the girl asked the gentleman if he would have any change of clothes. The guy gave her one of his shirts. She thanked him. He replied that there was no need to thank him if she didn't need anything else. She could go. The girls needed to rest and recuperate. The girl said that the person who would take her would arrive only tomorrow. She would be left completely alone. Does he think she can stay with him for just one night? He replied that he should do as he wished and said good night. Lying next to him, the girl thought what a strange man, but she doesn't know why she feels like this every time she approaches him. I felt calm and at ease. The next day, Chu Shuelian told the master that her grandfather had heard that he was going to work at the Eastern Star Aristocratic School. It so happened that this school belongs to her family. Grandfather said that now the school will be his gift to him. This venerable did not expect that the influence of the Chu family extended so widely, even to this school. The family has some influence. They may be useful for his endeavors in the future. He asked his student to take care of herself. This venerable one still has something to do. Her great teacher will deal with her later. If there is nothing else, then have a good day. The girl also wished the master to take care of himself. Looking forward, he thought that the mother and daughter received this venerable past from all his worldly possessions. They took his money and sent him to jail. They didn't even bother to say that the man's venerable father had passed away. Today, they will both meet his retribution. The woman asked, "Has she finally appeared? Has she come to see her mother? This is how it will all end. Let him make it clear. She must break all ties with him. It's not something to worry about, and it's not something to think about too much." The girl replied that she knew what to do. The woman should not tell her about it twice. She said that Mom is doing all this for her benefit. The Yang family is rich and powerful. If she married him, they wouldn't have to worry about what to put on the table and would live the good life. This is not a fairy tale about Cinderella. She has to do what she needs to survive, and not like in these stupid science fiction series and love shows. Let her look at her pathetic mother. When she was young, she willingly followed her father, but he was a useless idiot who suffered all his life. Her whole family is suffering because of him. Let her believe that this desire will bring her pain in the future. She still lives in a poor area to this day. The woman has been like this all her life. The girl will not be like her. Her daughter deserves better. Let her not follow in her footsteps. In the guy's video, the woman said he shouldn't be there. The girl asked, "Hasn't he seen her mother before? Why doesn't the guy say anything? Let him stop being so rude and say hello." After greeting, he said that the woman looked pretty good. She immediately began asking the guy how much he earns every month. The daughter replied that he was just a trainee teacher. He earns about $2,000 a month. Laughing, she asked only this small amount? He can't even afford the down payment on the house. They don't have enough money, their wages are too low. After this, does he have the courage to propose to their daughter? The guy asked for money? He doesn't even hide it. What is money versus absolute power? She seems to have misunderstood. This time he is not there because of her. Qi Shuang shouted to the guy that that's enough. He doesn't need to say anything more. Doesn't he want to grow a little in this Miss Chu's eyes? Is he poor and needs money? She is disappointed in him. This only makes her look down on him even more. Suddenly a car pulled up and several guys got out. While watching what was happening, I remembered that all the actors were in place. The stage is set. It looks like he came prepared. In his previous life, these two dogs were the ones who beat him. He remembers like it was yesterday. He began to tell his aunt that he had a small accident, and the guy had just recovered. He had only recently been discharged from the hospital, so he didn't bring her any gifts. How about giving her this new car? The woman replied that, just look, in the future they are practically family for them. That's why it's so kind. The guy replied that this was his way of showing respect to his future mother-in-law. She said that her daughter really has foresight. Unlike some people, they are so poor that they came there empty-handed and want to eat for free. The guy began to say that he was really shameless, stalking his girlfriend near the house. He thought that he burned down in the hotel and was injured by the chandelier that day. It had something to do with this guy. I decided that I wouldn't let him leave today. Yang Xiaokong told the guy that if he were him, he would get out of there right now. As long as he hasn't humiliated anyone, if he leaves, the guy won't make it difficult for him to live at school. Calling them insignificant ants, he asked if they thought they could complicate his life. The guy replied that he was just a small trainee teacher there, and he was the deputy director of the educational department. Works for the damn management. If the guy wants to deal with him, it will be as easy as squashing an ant. Li Taishuan asked if this was a question mark. Was he going to pacify him like this? Didn't the guy hear? Now this school belongs to him. This venerable school principal is now. Laughing, he asked what? Is he also the school principal? Did he really have such a good dream? Although bragging about this is not taxable, doesn't it make him feel bad to say it? Why is he even trying so hard? Why doesn't he boast that he is the mayor or the governor? Turning to the girl, he asked, did she hear this? He said that he was the director of their school. The woman asked her daughter what to think about. She should not deal with such a person in the future. It is better to immediately cross this line. This act is truly shameful. The woman told Yang Xiaokong to ignore this country boy and go home with his mother-in-law. She will cook delicious food for him and his daughter. The guy asked his aunt how about she and the girl try out the new car and let him talk to this guy alone. After all, he doesn't want this leech to bother his girlfriend in the future. The woman replied that he was right. She would go with her daughter and try the new car. Let this guy remember his place well. They never let him near her daughter again. The guy told Li Taishuan to kneel down and bark like a dog 100 times in front of him. After that, let him return from where he came and never appear in front of him or the girl. If he makes him laugh, maybe the guy will let him go so easily. Otherwise, he will make him understand what death means. The guy regrets that his mother isn't there to see it. She would probably regret that she gave birth to such a worthless person like him. Li asked had he finally decided to show him his true self. This venerable man knows what the guy will do to him. Is he going to cripple him, destroy his face with acid, and put him in jail for a crime he didn't commit? Yang Xiaokong said that since he already knows, the guy will not pretend, but now let him kneel in front of him. The guy grabbed him by the neck and called him an unbearable pig. He should just finish him off and send him into oblivion. But that would be too good for him. The guy must die slowly. Watching what was happening, the guys could not understand why this guy was so strong. Ian asked what they were doing. Let them hurry up and save him by killing this guy immediately. With just one glance, he created a barrier between them. The guys asked, "Is he a cultivator?" No wonder his strength is so incredible. He said that even ordinary dogs know who a cultivator is, and yet their master clings to him helplessly, pathetic mortals. It looks like there was a little detour in this plan, which is interesting. The guy began to tell that the city has many hidden tigers and dragons among this city, many noble people in abundance. Since he is a fellow cultivator, they will consider letting him go. All he has to do is let Yang Xiaokong go, and they won't create any problems for him. One of them thought that no, let him not say that. He can really hold such a huge amount of ki. He is even afraid that he might be on the same level as the boss. Yang Xiaokong asked, what are the two of them doing? The man paid them both to help him deal with it. Why the hell are they negotiating with him? Since he didn't want to listen to his request, just let them kill him already. Calling him a pathetic pig, the guy asked if he didn't understand the situation he was in now. They must beg this venerable one for mercy, foolish mortals so thirsty for death. The guy said that he is as vulnerable as this hand. Having broken his arm, he said that this crunch reminded him of the leg he had crippled in the past with this hand. Looking at the other guy, he began to say that he took his kidney and sold it, and now it's that pig's turn. The guy began to ask what he was going to do with him. If he tries to harm him, he will sue him for bodily harm. He will be sent to prison forever for this. Li Taishuan replied that this venerable one would not let him die so easily. The performance has just begun. Now let him worship him as his god, bow down 100 times and squeal like a pig. It's their turn to entertain him. Having stepped on his foot, the guy began to shout that he would do it right now, just don't hurt him. The girl asked her mother what would happen to Li Taishuan. The woman replied that she was warning her to never mention that guy's name in her presence again. Yang Xiaokong is 1,000 times better than him. He is rich, and he comes from an influential family. Compared to him, that boy is just trash. From now on, just let him focus on that guy. Looking out the car window, the woman thought what was going on there. The guy said it was only 50 bows. They can do better than that, right? Let him hurry up. Time is very valuable for this subordinate. Looking at him, Yang Xiaokong thought that he would definitely take revenge someday. The guy would never forgive him for this, and he would definitely die at his hands. After getting out of the car, Qi Shuang asked what he did. The guy replied that he did nothing of the kind. All of this was done voluntarily by their dear young master, right? Calling the guy a pig, he said that he still owed the venerable 100 bows. Let him not forget now that he must show everyone present what a wonderful acting the young master has. The girl shouted that she really didn't know what happened there, but there were limits to the humiliation of the one who insulted him. Why is he acting so mean right now? The guy looks like a villain. Let him immediately apologize to Yang Xiaokong. Did he ask to apologize? They mortals are disgusted when they are at the top, still holding power and status. Have they ever even thought of apologizing to him? Then let him start screaming. Let him do it. The guy kept thinking that he swears to God. He will make Li Taishuan pay for this. He will die, although no, the guy will make sure that he suffers a fate worse than death. As he was leaving the yard, the guy's phone rang. It was his father. The man asked how the guy was doing. Is everything okay with him in that city? Is he doing well at his new school? What about the marriage proposal? Did everything go well? The guy replied that he was very glad to hear from his father. The man asked what happened to him. Was he really crying? The guy is a grown man. Let him stop crying. Can tell him who did it. Dad can help him. Let him not bring himself to such a state. The guy asked again, is he crying? No, he's just happy. Someone doesn't just cry, right? It's so awkward, it's okay, no doubt about it. Everything is going very well for him. His son will bring him to this city when he finishes all his business there and settles everything. This venerable one suffered in his past life and was bullied until this mortal committed suicide. His only father suffered the most when he was persecuted by these inhumane acts of evil. He doesn't know what he went through, only the guy remembers his previous suffering. The man told the guy that he was very lucky that he was able to get into their prestigious school, but the position of teaching trainees was not currently vacant. For now, he will primarily manage the school warehouse. Li Taishuan asked again with the treasure. The man replied that he should not say that he forgot what he reminded him about. Today the school manager is coming to check the school and identify a new director of this school. If the warehouse is not in order within a few hours, even about receiving this month's salary. The guy asked again, was the arrangement approved by the manager? Did they know he was doing this without their permission? The man began to shout, why does he care? He's just a fool. The new director will obviously be Yang Xiaokong. Once he's elected, the guy will never dare talk like that again. Throwing him the keys, he began to say that he had recently heard that he had offended him, and that the guy would probably fire him immediately when he became director. Someone without support, status, or influence like him probably has to admit his mistake to the guy before he gets to him. Maybe the guy can still work there as a warehouse manager. Zhao Fei said that he heard that the guy had finally returned there. Why didn't he come and tell him? Had he really forgotten about his brother? The man started shouting, what is the guy doing there? Who asked him to come there? He's a physical education teacher. He should be on the playground. Is the guy skipping his job? Let him be careful. The man will deduct his salary for half a month if he continues like this. Let him take this guy with him and get out of there. He replied to Director Ma that it was good, and suggested that his brother simply say yes. Let him ignore this guy and cool down. Zhao Fei began to say that they graduated almost a year ago. Now that he has the opportunity to work there in the same school as a girl, when are they both planning to get married? The guy replied that not at all. The harlot prefers Yang Xiaokong. His brother immediately told him not to worry. He's right. He'll forget what that whore did to him. She probably doesn't deserve to be with him at all. One day, the girl will regret it, just like that guy. The brother replied that it was nothing like that. His way of talking was quite sophisticated, less about him, more about his brother. He was curious how he ended up teaching physical education with a degree in chemistry. The guy replied that it was difficult to say. When he first came to school, he was crazy. One situation happened that caught the interest of Director Ma and somehow angered that egghead Yang Xiaokong. He thinks to teach him a lesson, they assigned him to the worst class in the entire school as a physical education teacher. But the guy doesn't think about it at all this year. When his mother gets better, he will retire from there. It's not worth it. His brother asked him not to despair yet. When that person is done with this place, He will reverse this injustice and certainly bring their dignity back. The brother said that now the guy looks much more confident. Even if he says something funny, the guy knows that he will do it for him. Don't let him contact them. They can't do anything about it. Let him endure it. The guy knows what Director Ma is doing now. He suppresses him because of this Yang Xiaokong. Warehouse management is just a cop-out. Li Taishuan said that as the new owner of this new educational institution, he appoints the guy as the chief manager. He won't have to swallow these past grievances. This venerable new director of their academy. Those who do wrong will pay for it. This guy was that mortal's best friend. He didn't expect that this school bully would be bullied there. This overlord is now there. Salvation is at hand. The guy laughed and said that he was talking about some kind of villain from a cartoon. It was a really good joke. Now, since he is the new director, let him allow him to show him around, show him his kingdom and even his warehouse. Instead of the vice principal, could he be Godzilla? The man said that, according to them, he is a pretty good practitioner, but they don't even know who he is. It's strange why such a genius appeared there in the city. Didn't he even tell them his name? The guys replied that they did it. They told him about him, but the guy didn't listen. He replied that they should tell their boss to eat shit, and he personally asked him to kneel and beg for mercy. The man said it was disgusting. How dare he express his disrespect to him? Let them study that stupid guy. They will find his location. The man will personally deal with him and cut him into 3 parts. Turning to her grandfather, the girl said that today was the first day when her master had to come to school. Isn't it time to have a ceremony to let everyone know? Since they decided to give the school to the master. The man replied that, yes, it's time. He organizes everything there at the Tianlong Hotel. Have the entire school faculty and directors gather to announce the new top candidate. The girl answered her grandfather that it was good. She said that she would sort out the organization. The man asked her to stay. There was something else he would like to talk about. He began to say that in a few days Lei Yuntian would return from the army. What does she think of him? The girl replied that the guy was the same age as her. He went to serve in the army very early. After that, he became a disciple of Long Tianzhang, the first master of the southeastern military region. The guy became a major at a very young age, and you can rely on him. Grandfather asked, what about her feelings? Has she considered marriage as an option? The girl knows that the guy loves her since they were both little. He returned from the army this time only because of her. She replied that although he is an excellent person, the girl does not love this man. When he returns, she will tell him how she feels about it. Let Grandpa not worry about it at all. The man thought that he was not worried about the guy. What he was really worried about was Long Tianzhang, the same great master Voldemort who senselessly kills everyone and everything. If he talks about marriage, it would be difficult to refuse. The guy thought that this was really a school for young nobles, an excellent location, a favorable landmark there. This is the highest paying property within a 100-mile radius. Looking at the phone, the guy wondered if there was an announcement for a new director. Yang Xiaokong's family is rich and powerful. His father is the school director. The candidacy of the new director this time should be his. The guy asked if he really doubted the words of this respectable man. He is the Lord Headmaster of this school. He will soon find out that the man in front of him is telling the truth. He doesn't need to doubt. Seeing the guy, Yang Xiaokong thought that Li Taishuan should wait in his place. Let him wait until he becomes director. He'll see how he deals with him later. Turning to him, Qi Shuang ordered him to stop now. Turning around, the guy asked the harlot, "What is it?" The guy asked to apologize. He doesn't know if she's acting like a fool or just pretending to be naive. It's funny that the girl asks him to apologize. This lord doesn't apologize to anyone. The mountain doesn't bend towards rivers and lakes, especially a worthless piece of trash like that mortal named Yang. Just the thought makes the guy want to kill him. She asked if he could stop pretending. Let him get down from his bell tower and face the truth. He is just a poor man from some unknown village. The guy worked so hard to be a teacher in this school, and he refuses this for the sake of his own pride and selfishness. The guy asked her to save him from his false pretense. He sees right through her. She never tried to understand that mortal in the past, even in this life. His only advice he can give her is to stay away from him. The girl didn't understand how he became like this. The guy seems so reckless and difficult to get along with. Does he think he's rich now? What's wrong with him? Director Ma said that the guy didn't repent at all when he assigned him to the warehouse earlier. Next time he'll send him to deal with the toilets. Such an insufferable guy, now he even talks funny. The girl replied that she thought he was crazy. It's better to kick him out of school, the sooner the better. Young Xiao Kong told the girl that that guy was completely rotten and crazy. She couldn't help him. People like him should be locked up in a mental hospital along with the rest of society's scum. He wondered how he dares to offend so many with his brute force. Today, the guy will let him see his strength, the power of status and connection. He will show him the abyss in society, will suppress him for the rest of his life, so that he will never be able to rise again. Turning to the guy, the brother asked why he didn't eat. This club is the best club in the city. The hotel has many amenities. As a rule, only people from the upper elite receive the best service there. Doesn't he want to try? He said that the board of directors organized their presence there. The candidacy of a new director this time seems very important. Looks like they've taken this matter seriously. He really doesn't know what they're thinking. Suddenly, at some point, a girl ran in and began to ask Teacher Shu for help. Several men came in after her and said that she couldn't hide there. There was nowhere to run. There was only one entrance. Let her go out now. The girl said that these guys want to get rid of her. Xu Xiaoying asked who they are. If they don't leave now, she'll call the police. The man replied that she could do whatever she wanted. Looking at her, he told his friend that this woman was also good, so they could take her away too. Yang Xiaokong thought who could be messing with them. It turns out that it was Babo, and when he approached him, he said that most likely it was a misunderstanding. The guy replied that his name is Yang Xiaokun. Brother Ba has been there for a long time, so he may not know him personally, but the guy knows who he is. He is a legendary street fighter who defeated a black boxer from an underground fight club. Let him not contact him. No one there can afford to offend him. Those who dare to mess with this guy will die. Approaching the guy, the girl asked what she should do. She didn't know that this was a man from the underground. Could he do anything about it? The guy began to ask if he could tell them what made him so angry. What was the matter? Pointing his finger at that little girl, he began to say that he politely asked her to go have a drink with him. She not only refused him, but also injured his people. Do they think this is fair? Looking at the girl alone, Yang Xiaokong ordered her to hurry up and apologize to her brother right now and let her pay for the medical expenses of his people. The girl replied that she just came there to work. They insisted and tried to take her away. They forced her. She was just a student. The teacher told her not to say that. Let him hurry up and apologize to him. He will simply ask her to drink a little. Why can't she do even such a simple thing? How could she hurt other people? Let him apologize now. Babo replied that there was no need to apologize to him. She was still at work. Let him return to the bar and keep him company. Is she still not going to go? Do they think he won't put them in their place for going against him? Do I think he's soft? I think it's that easy to get rid of. Let them think carefully again. Today he will let them know how strong he is. No one will be allowed to leave this place. The guy asked his brother to wait. She would go. He just wants her to accompany him, to just have a drink with him. No harm, right? Turning to the girl, Yang Xiaokong began to shout for her to come back with him right now. Let her make him happy. Later, as their director, he can waive tuition fees for the duration of the semester. Let him go. Don't dare create any problems for them. The teacher also told her to hurry up and leave with him. The guy has already decided to take care of her. Isn't she going to repay his kindness? Didn't the teacher teach her to show her gratitude? As soon as one of the guys grabbed her hand, the girl immediately began screaming for him to let her go. They couldn't force him. The guy asked if he wanted to escape from them. Let him continue to dream. Li Taishuan came to the girl's defense. Qi Shuang asked, "What is he doing? If he resists him, he will die. Let him hurry up and come back. Don't create more problems." The guy replied that he should shut up. None of them deserved the right to speak. He began to say that this student was under his protection. Not only did his people harass her and interrupt her work, but instead of apologizing, they resort to underhanded actions and force her. How did they get to this point? This venerable one is dissatisfied. Today, they must compensate him for this act against his sovereignty. Otherwise, the consequences will be devastating for them, so let him remember his words. Young Shaokong asked the guy that a donkey kicked him in the head today. What is he trying to say? None of this makes any sense. He will kill them all because of him. Crazy, he doesn't care at all. His plan would have gone well if he hadn't interfered. Let this psycho hurry up and kneel in front of the man and ask for his forgiveness. What the hell is he doing? Let him hurry up and apologize. It's just one stupid student. What's the big deal? Laughing, Beibo said that since he wanted to play the role of a hero, then he would deal with him first. He ordered the guys to take it. With one movement of the hand, both guys were already lying on the floor. Babo asked, "So he is also a martial artist? No wonder he's so strong." Turning to the wolf, he ordered him to show the guy how to do it correctly. Let him hammer a lot of common sense into him. As soon as he began to attack, Li Taishuan thought that a simple ant, their techniques would not work against absolute strength. Watch what is happening. The girl wondered, when did it become so strong? And what's going on there anyway? The wolf was once a mercenary. He fought in various hot spots such as the Middle East. He was born for war. The cruelty of wars does not bother him either. But the guy couldn't withstand even one blow from this guy. Who the hell is he? Li Taishuan asked. Did this venerable one show enough strength to scare him? Let him bow in awe of his superiority. What is his next step? Let the person not upset him now with his move. Beibo replied that it was good. He admits that the guy has some abilities to cope with him. But can he deal with so many people? They surrounded the guy from all sides. The guys decided to hurry up and leave. Let this idiot deal with them himself. The guys shouted, "What are they waiting for? Let them cut him into pieces for his sake." They started attacking the guy, but all he did was light a cigarette. Suddenly, with a powerful shock wave, they scattered in different directions. The guy asked forgiveness from simple ants. Let them accept their helplessness. Resistance is useless. Looking at everything from the outside, the guys asked what the hell he was doing. What was that blinding light? This can't be true, can it? Beibo thought that this was impossible. These people are the main special forces from the army. The thugs are trained soldiers. Even if the people are retired, one ex-special forces soldier can at least fight against 10 people. This group of people was his main strength, which allowed him to dominate the underground of the city. He didn't expect that some kid would be able to defeat everyone in the blink of an eye. Putting his foot on his shoulder, the guy asked if he had anyone else to show him. Time passes. This respected man demands compensation. The mortal must pay the bills. The loser must yield to the strong.